Did you know that England's most powerful queen died kneeling on a wooden scaffold, executed not by her enemies, but by the man she loved? Her crime? Being unable to give him a son. This is the tragic, humiliating, and unforgettable story of Anne Boleyn, the crowned queen who became a condemned traitor whose blood soaked the cold stones of the Tower. Anne Boleyn was born around 1501, daughter of Sir Thomas Boleyn and Lady Elizabeth Howard. Her father was ambitious, her mother descended from dukes. They lived at Hever Castle in Kent, surrounded by rolling green lands and forests alive with nightingales. From childhood, Anne's mind was sharp. At just 12, she was sent to the Netherlands and then to France to serve Queen Claude. So many languages, so many ways to command a man's heart and mind. In the French court, she learned elegance, poetry, flirtation, and statecraft. By 1522, she returned to England, a poised lady with eyes like polished obsidian, mysterious, unreadable. Henry VIII first noticed her during a court masque, a dance of mythical gods and lovers. She wore a gown of emerald silk embroidered with gold thread. Her dark hair framed her ivory face, lips curved in an elusive smile. At first, he sent her gifts, pearls, jeweled brooches, handwritten love notes signed H.R. But Anne refused to become his mistress. She returned every jewel with polite words. "Your Majesty's kindness honors me, but I cannot accept what I cannot return in full." Henry was furious and intrigued. No woman refused him. His obsession deepened into madness. For 7 years, Henry fought the Pope for an annulment from Catherine of Aragon. Rome refused. The Queen was beloved, but Henry's will was iron. In 1533, Archbishop Cranmer declared Henry's marriage to Catherine invalid. He married Anne in secret. She was already pregnant. Anne was crowned queen in June. Says he wore golden robes, her belly swelling with what all believed would be a son. "God grant me a prince. Let me remain in his heart forever." But fate is cruel. Anne gave birth to a girl, Elizabeth. Henry hid his disappointment. Anne soon became pregnant again, but miscarried. By her third pregnancy, Henry's love turned cold. He began courting Jane Seymour, a quiet lady-in-waiting with golden hair and downcast eyes. Anne's enemies at court, led by Thomas Cromwell, saw their chance. They whispered poison. "She is a witch. She has bewitched your Majesty's mind and manhood." In May 1536, Anne was arrested while playing cards with her ladies. Guards stormed her chamber. Her uncle, the Duke of Norfolk, refused to meet her eyes. She was taken by barge to the Tower of London. Ravens watched from blackened battlements. The Thames waters were gray and silent. She was locked in the same rooms she had stayed in before her coronation. A savage irony. Oh Lord, how quickly the world turns, from gold to ashes. Anne stood trial in the Tower's great hall before 26 peers of the realm. The charges were monstrous. Adultery, with 5 men, including her brother George Boleyn. Incest, treason, plotting to kill the king. None of it was true. Confessions were extracted under torture, threats, and bribes. and defended herself with dignity and sharp wit, but the verdict was already written before she spoke. You shall find no proof, for I am innocent. But innocence is nothing before power. The court found her guilty. Her marriage to Henry was annulled, stripping her daughter Elizabeth of legitimacy. She was condemned to die by burning or beheading at the king's pleasure. Henry granted her a mercy, death by sword, not axe. A French swordsman was summoned. He arrived quietly by barge, blade hidden in a bundle of straw. God give me courage, that I may did he with dignity. On 18th May, Anne took communion and confessed. She swore before God that she had never been unfaithful. That night she slept little. Her ladies wept silently. Anne comforted them, saying, Do not weep. I go to a better place. Hold my memory kindly. She laughed suddenly, madness tinging her voice, and said, I shall be known as Queen Anne the Headless. Silence fell. Even her ladies could not speak. At dawn on 19th of May, Anne dressed in a dark gray damask gown with a red underskirt, the color of martyrdom. She walked barefoot to the scaffold, her face calm but pale. The French swordsman stood ready, his blade hidden behind his back. Anne knelt on the straw, removing her headdress to reveal her bound hair. She spoke clearly. Good Christian people, I am come hither to die, according to the law, and thus yield myself to the will of the king. I pray God save the king, and send him long to reign over you. For to me he was ever a good, gentle, and sovereign lord. She knelt upright, praying silently. The swordsman called for his sword. Anne turned her head slightly, instinctively following the sound. In that instant, he stepped forward and with one swift, silent strike, severed her head. Her body slumped forward, blood soaking her red petticoat. Her ladies screamed. One fainted, another fell to her knees, sobbing uncontrollably. Her head was lifted and placed in a simple white cloth. Her body was wrapped hurriedly and placed in an old arrow chest for burial. Anne was buried in the chapel of St. Peter ad Vincula within the Tower grounds, among other executed traitors. Henry wore white the next day in public. 11 days later, he married Jane Seymour. But his humiliation was complete, for it was Anne's daughter, Elizabeth I, who rose to rule England in its golden age, the greatest monarch in English history. Mother, I carry your name, your blood, and your memory. They shall never erase you. They called her a witch. They called her a traitor. But time calls her mother of England's golden queen. This was the most humiliating execution of the 16th century, not because of how she died, but because of why she died. Power destroys not only its enemies, but its own beloved sleep. Well, knowing kings forget their queens, but history never does.